All right, so as you know, the Pokemon market is like on fire. It's crazy. It's hard to find products. It's insane. There's people fighting at Costco. There's people stocking vending machines. There's people scamming people and whatnot, ripping packs. You know, trying to just it's insane what's going on right now. I've never seen it like this. I mean, I've seen things similar, but never quite to this extent. You know, back in 2020 or so. You know, some of the, I guess, what would that be, like around the Vivid Voltage and Shining Fates and stuff like that. It got real popular to like scalp Pokemon products. So, you know, Shining Fates ETBs were going for like $120 until Pokemon printed them into the ground like crazy. And I was picking those up at like $35 after that. So I think it was $35, something like that. But like, you know, it's hard to tell what's going on. So, but like for the last year and a half or so, it's somewhere in that neighborhood. Could be close to 2. I forget now. But it was after Crown Zenith. I would walk into my local Walmart that is on my way to work. It's right down the street, a block and a half right here. I walk right in there. I would go and grab whatever I wanted. You know, right at 8 o'clock or so. You know, because there was other people. It wasn't like there was it wasn't a specific store that people were like, you know, just going and hunting out, you know, some of this stuff. But so I'd go in there 8 o'clock, 8:30, 8:45, whatever it was, and I'd walk in there and I would find V Striker tins, 151 products. Just there was so much stuff. I would always find stuff. 151 ETBs were in there. You know, as early as like 4 or 5 months ago, they still had some. You know, that would 1 or 2 would pop up here and there. But like now, so just yesterday, you know, Journey Together, of course, releases today, right now. But my Walmart stocks on Thursday, so he was stocking Journey Together yesterday. So I get there, I walk to the back of the store, and before I even get to the back of the store, I can hear like a crowd of people just talking, chatting in that area. And I walk by, and sure enough, there was somewhere around 15 or 20 people in line waiting. The guy who stocks the store, I know him pretty well. Me and him have got to, you know, chat about stuff quite a bit because I've been going for a long time. And so I go up to the front where he's restocking the sports stuff. And, you know, I went to go see if there's any Prism NBA, the new NBA just dropped recently. And so I go back up there, and then I asked him, you know, so do you see the line you got back there? And he was like, yeah. You know, he had that look on his face like, my gosh. But, you know, so for me, I just left it. I'm not one of those people. I'm not going to wait in line elbowing with people, or, you know, this store doesn't stock a lot of stuff. So there was 20 something people back there. There's probably going to be at the most 6 ETBs. I've never seen them stock more than 6 ETBs. With Prismatic, there was 6 ETBs. Journey Together, there might be 4 ETBs. You know, because I think Journey Together has a lot less allocation going on, is what it sounds like is what's going on. So there was quite a few people back there, and like I said, they were going to be probably fighting over who gets what. You know, I don't know what else was releasing that day. We're Journey Together, I guess it's everything, huh? So maybe they would have had a few booster bundles and other such things, but I'm pretty sure everyone wanted the ETBs for sure. Myers Walmart does not stock booster boxes, so it would have been booster bundles and ETBs pretty much, I think. Maybe sleeve blisters. I don't know if there's any 3-pack blisters of Journey Together yet. Not 100% sure. But like, so it's crazy to see that. So for me to go into the store, I never had to, it was always just me in the morning. If someone got there before me and grabbed some stuff, but I never noticed it, I never seen it. So it was always just me. So going from, we'll just say like 1 or 2 people going to that at 8 in the morning to a line of, where was that, 15 to 20 people who got there. And then the guy told me that, yeah, there was been a line there since about 7:30. And I got there 8:15. I got there at 8:15, 8:20, and it went. So from 7:30, so people were in line for at least 45 minutes, and he was taking his sweet time with the sports cards because he was. I think he would. He'd. I would be kind of annoyed with that too if I was stocking the cards and there was a line of 20 something people waiting for me. You know, just kind of like. You're trying to do your job and you just want to go over there, stock the stuff, and then walk away. But when you got all those people in there, you're gonna have to deal with all that headache of that stuff too. So But 15 to 20 people, I mean, we're talking about so much more interest in just that one little store that I go to that I've never seen before. I haven't seen that at there, but they stopped stocking Pokemon cards during the hype of stuff. Like I said, that I think they stopped stocking probably back in 2021, 2021, whatever it was. But they just recently had started getting back into putting cards up there. I think it could have been during Silver Tempest or something like that. I'm not 100% sure when it was. I just started seeing cards popping up. Like, oh shoot, okay. So I started shopping at that store, and like I said, not a lot of interest, just a handful of people. Everything did sell out though. Things didn't sit for a long time at that store, but it wasn't like crowds in the morning, like it is now. There's ever since Prismatic Evolutions, it wasn't like that for Surging Sparks. When Surging Sparks released, I went back there, I bought stuff. I was able to get Surging Sparks ETBs just sitting there, but when Prismatic came, that's when I noticed a crowd of 4 or 5 new faces that I'd never seen. And then now with Journey Together, my gosh, there was tons of people there. Like I said, like 15 to 20 people waiting before I even got there. And I heard the voices as I approached the aisle. It's crazy. But so just kind of trying to figure out what it is that's driving the hype right now. So if you were to look at the Pokemon interest over time, where you just type in Pokemon cards or Pokemon interest over time, 5-year period, we go back to, it's approximately January, February, it could actually maybe a little bit further, March, April, May, June, somewhere in that second quarter of 2021. The hype, the Pokemon's interest is up over 30% of that time. And we're talking about like Evolving Skies all the way up to Celebrations, in that little area right there, we're up quite a bit more. Actually, if you go back a little bit even further, like Vivid Voltage and stuff, the hype was super high during Shining Fates, Vivid Voltage and stuff like that. We're currently about 30% more interest than that era. And if you were around at that time, you know how crazy it was. Everyone was wanting Vivid Voltage. Everyone was chasing that Chunkachu. Everybody wanted Shining Fates. There's a couple good, there's a Charizard in there that was pretty good, but everyone was chasing the Suicune. It was crazy back then. And everything was reselling, and there was the resellers, the quick flip guys. They were out in force back then, so especially with those Shining Fates ETBs, but Vivid Voltage was going crazy. And then you have like in 2023, the highest the hype was in 2023 was right around Crown Zenith, and right after that it dipped. Scarlet and Violet, if you look at the chart for interest over time, you'll see where Crown Zenith, Silver Tempest, Crown Zenith is, and you'll see that dip right into Scarlet and Violet. You'll see a nice little bump up right around 151, but then you see this, then you see it drop again, and then it just shoots up, right up around Pokemon Pocket time. And this is kind of like in 2016 when Pokemon Go came out. The hype for Pokemon got so big. I remember going out to dinner. We're at like one of those Japanese steakhouses where you sit at the table with a bunch of people. So me and my family over here, and there was a couple over here, and they couldn't get off their phone playing Pokemon Go while they were doing this hibachi shit right in front of your face. So it's like, okay, so people were so into it because of that. But the difference was, back then, Pokemon game had more searches than Pokemon cards. Right now, it is flipped. And this is the first time that's happened, where the search for Pokemon cards is higher than the search for Pokemon games. And I think the reason with that, if you go to look at Pokemon Pocket, it's a game where you open packs, virtual packs and stuff like that. Pokemon Go wasn't that. They get you outside, you're walking around like just like a madman chasing Pokemon cards. Or not cards, you're not chasing cards actually, that's the key right there. They were chasing little virtual Pokemon, little creatures and stuff like that. On the new game, Pokemon Pocket, you're opening packs. So I think it kind of gets people to actually wanting to open packs in real life too. So So look, right around that time, so this is my son calls them the Pocket Pals. He says, I love the Pocket Pals. They seem to really like Pokemon. I don't care that they're driving up the prices and stuff like that, because it made my collection more expensive, all that kind of stuff. His cards shot up in price, my stuff. Pokemon Pocket is, like I said, it is a driving force for people to actually get up and go into the store and buy cards, or go online and order cards, and then want to open up these cards in real life too. So and then they came in at a right around Surging Sparks. So they came in the Pokemon Pocket. I think that started right before Surging Sparks released, but Surging Sparks was in pre-orders and all that kind of stuff, and right when Prismatic Evolutions was announced. So Prismatic Evolutions was announced right just, I mean, it wasn't announced, it was, pre-orders went up on that right before, Surging Sparks was set to release. And like I was able to order Pokemon off the Pokemon Center every time pre-release, every single set, until I hit Journey Together. I missed on the Pokemon Center ETB, and Destined Rivals I missed on the Pokemon Center ETB, but Prismatic I was able to get, because those people were just revving up their engines and just getting into it. So I was able to go on to Prismatic 2 or 3 hours into the drop, ordered me some Pokemon Center ETBs, and but that's right when it was getting crazy. So I know a lot of people out there, a lot of you guys were able to get Prismatic ETBs, but you probably had a harder time getting Journey Together, which is not as good of a set as Prismatic. And you had a hard time with that Destined Rivals drop, sitting in the queue for 2 hours. But some people sat in the queue for 2 hours and they still got it. So they did change that a little bit. But that whole waiting, that's almost like that whole waiting in line thing. It's one of the things I refuse to do. Like GameStop selling everything in the store now instead of pre-order. I'm not going to be sitting out there in line with people, bumping elbows trying to get stuff. That's not the kind of person I am. That's not the kind of, I have a 9 to 5 career. I actually get up, I gotta work. I can't be like those 15, 20 people that were in the Walmart standing there, waiting. I'd rather go sit at my desk and order something for a higher price if I needed to, and sit and make my money while I'm working, as opposed to sitting there losing money, waiting just to buy something at retail, than to realize, oh shoot, what is it really costing you? You know what I mean? So I don't think people really, they have to win. It's like that win mentality. I have to win. No, you can actually bite the bullet and go and buy this stuff for a little bit more. So maybe some of those people that were at the end of the line, maybe they just got one booster bundle for $29, or Walmart, they sell it for slightly higher because MJ Holdings sets their prices. I don't think Walmart even sets those prices. So their MJ Holdings is slowly sneaking up ETBs by $5, selling the booster bundles $3 more. Booster bundles should be like $26.49 or something like that. They sell for $29.99. So you're gonna go and sit in line that long to get one of those products at retail for what? I mean, why didn't you could just order it from somebody who's selling it for a little bit more, and you didn't have to get in your car, you didn't have to drive over there, you didn't have to waste an hour and a half of your time, or maybe more. It could have been more. My restock guy, like I said, when I asked him, hey, do you see that line you got back there? And he was just kind of like shaking his head like, yeah. Like he wanted to avoid them as long as he could. I would probably feel the same way too. I mean, because he was being able to just do his job for the longest time, probably since Crown Zenith, Silver Tempest, for the longest time, without having to worry about stuff. And now every Thursday when he does his restock, there's line of people, and these people, he's probably never seen. Maybe he could make a couple new friends. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, but like I said, whenever I seen him, I was cordial. I'd just chat with him for a little bit, and then, while he was doing his stuff, I'd grab the couple products that I would get, and, and then he would even tell me, hey, I got some more 151 in the back. I'm gonna go grab some. And I got a bunch of posters, Alakazam boxes, stuff like that from him, just because he let me know that he had stuff. Because he didn't have a big line of people. If there was like 10 or 15 people, I wouldn't have really got to know who he was, and he wouldn't be like, hey, I got this, I got that. He had those adventure boxes or whatever, and he was excited. Hey, these adventure boxes came in because they look cool, but it was one of those things I wasn't looking for, but he always had that like a little bit of excitement of new things that were coming in the sports stuff. He'd always like, because he knew I like to open sports stuff sometimes, so but it was cool, but when there's so much more people, it's a little less of an intimate setting between, like I said, if someone lingers after, just ask them questions, maybe, it's kind of cool. But when you got a bunch of people in your face, like, we've seen those videos where people were stuck in the vending machines, and that vending machine person was, a little bit angry. You got the other guy that was had to get kicked out of a store because he was trying to use one credit card, then the next credit card, and it clearly states on there, 2 items per customer per day or something like that, or so we're seeing a lot of that. And I guess a lot of people are getting tired of it. A lot of people are just they're especially like some of the new people that came in that thought they were just going to go to the store and buy some of this stuff, realizing that it's so hard to get this stuff, and there's so much more people out there. There's vultures just picking this stuff up. You know what I mean? They're a little bit shocked probably about some of these prices, and where were they at during the good times, where it was easy? Scarlet and Violet base set, Pal de Evolve, where you could just walk in the store, grab some Obsidian Flames, which people labeled it Obsidian Lames, but now it's a $200 booster box. This era is such a good era of cards, so you had the Pokemon Pocket Pals. They came in right at that time, Surging Sparks releasing, Prismatic pre-orders going up and all that kind of stuff. So that's where the hype was starting to get crazy. But it just kind of built up. It built up. And then when Prismatic Evolutions releases and Journey Together pre-orders go up, we had the new Prismatic Evolution. The people who came in specifically to chase Umbreon and to evolutions, all that stuff, that's a different set of group of people than the Pokemon Pocket people. The prismatic people, the Prizzies, whatever you want to call them, I don't know. They came in, and so I'm in a lot of these Facebook groups for Pokemon buy, sell, trade, Pokemon collectors, all this kind of stuff. I'm in those groups, and in those groups, there's a lot of people who say, "Oh, I'm new to Pokemon. I just started in January." Well, that's Prismatic Evolutions. If you just started in January, that's Prismatic Evolutions, and those people right there, I mean, they don't understand what it was. They don't understand the Vivid Voltage times. They don't understand. They really think that they came in at the greatest set that's ever been released, and that the prices will never go down, which we're seeing the prices go down now. You couldn't like talk to them about any of this stuff because they didn't understand, and they would they think everything's investable, and then so they can't get Prismatic Evolution, so they'll see they don't know which products even have packs sometimes, and they're just going to grab something and here's I was in my Walmart, and there was a day where everything got bought out except for a few things, and I seen a guy holding in his arms one of those Charizard boxes, like he was protecting it, like holding it. So buying it for a regular price when you can go online right now and find people selling it for $50, $60, whatever it is, instead of $80 like that. So just the way he was holding that, I could tell he was a new to the Pokemon space, because that box, nobody's doing that. Nobody's running around trying to find those Charizard super or super premium collection box with the big old giant figure and all that kind of stuff. So you see some of that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of there's a lot of craziness going on with Prismatic Evolutions. Like I said, everyone expects. The people are like upset that they can't get the stuff at retail. Everyone expects to, like I said, just be able to go walk into the store, and they're shocked that they can't. You can't just walk in the door. Can't even go to LGS and get the stuff. It's your local game store that you used to go to before. They're selling out of all this stuff. I mean, it's you're lucky if you find something at MSRP sitting on a shelf anywhere. Target, Walmart, your local GameStops, game stores, LGSs, all that stuff. I mean, like I said, I was able to go into just about any place anywhere and get products that I wanted. If I wanted a Scarlet and Violet ETB, I will find it on the shelf somewhere. Now, you won't even find those. You don't find those. You don't find any more Crown Zenith, which Crown Zenith was printed like crazy. There was so much Crown Zenith stuff. Can't even get those anymore. I was able to grab some of the Reggie Drago boxes off of Walmart. They were shipped and sold by Walmart for $35. It was MJ Holdings, because that's what my box says right on it. It doesn't say Walmart. It's my my tracking said it came from MJ Holdings. $35 for a $19.99 box. But at that point, it was a below market but above MSRP. So I bought 6 of them, and then it said that there was low stock. So I went back in there. I went in there and it only allowed me to cart one more, and then it canceled that order. So those sold out that day that I got the 6. So I pretty much got the last 6. Someone got the last one. There were 7 of them by the time I ordered, I guess. So it's crazy. Everything. So like I said, the new people that came in, all the new hype and stuff like that, is actually drove the market for the sets like Obsidian Flames and Scarlet and Violet Base. Palday Evolved. I just sold my last booster bundles, the last 2 booster bundles, which I'm going to ship out. One customer bought these, but all those sets that were sitting a little bit, just marinating, collecting dust on the shelves, and in some places you couldn't sell Scarlet and Violet ETBs for more than like $35 for the longest time. They were just sitting there like that for the longest time. Now they're selling for like $50-$60, almost double. They're not quite selling at double, $70 yet, but they're gonna get there. So like I said, all this hype and stuff has driven the older sets of Scarlet and Violet, and they bought up all the rest of the Crown Zenith that was sitting. Pokemon Center had Crown Zenith stuff all the way up, till just recently. Those big ass $70 boxes or $60 boxes, whatever, with the little figure. They had the 3-pack blisters. Everything was still sitting up there on the Pokemon Center, all gone. Pokemon Center has nothing up on there at all. There's nothing with packs in it, pretty much. I can go look right now, but I think there's nothing with packs in it on their shop right now. And they had so much stuff, they couldn't even sell it. They couldn't sell stuff because they just sell it at what do they sell it at MSRP. So if we go on there right now, the only thing, they have the Combined Powers Premium Collection. That's $60 right there. I forget how many packs are in there. It was quite a few packs in that one. And then they have the Paldea Adventure Chest, which that got down to like $19 some places. They still have it for $50. The holiday calendars. That's basically it. You got 2 holiday calendars. I don't even think the Trainer's Toolkit has packs, but it could. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4 things with packs in it, and the rest are like decks. After that, literally, they got a few decks, battle decks, and that Academy thing. That's it. Like when you used to go onto the Pokemon Center website, there was so much stuff on there. There was booster boxes, there was collection boxes, there was tins, there was mini tins, all kinds of stuff for the longest time. Those little stackable cubes, the Pokeballs, forever it was there, just sitting there, because you can get all that stuff for so much cheaper at the store, online, on eBay, all that stuff. Now you go to eBay and everything is priced above market. Nobody's pricing anything at MSRP. Nobody's pricing anything at market. They're pricing everything above, like literally everything's above market. I went just the other day shopping, and the only stuff that I could find was from Amazon UK that was slightly below market. It was above MSRP, but slightly below market for Scarlet and Violet ETBs, Twilight Masquerade ETBs, stuff like that. That's it. Nobody is selling below market or even at market. Everyone's wanting more and more. You go on to like Walmart, and the marketplace people are selling everything for like $20-$30 more. It's crazy. It is crazy what's going on right now. And I don't know if people are buying that, but it is what it is. I have the majority of my stuff listed at market or above too, because I'm not going to sell it, closer to MSRP. When I'm able to get products, I'm listing it at market or more, and it will sell sometime. So, because I'm not in a hurry to sell stuff. I like to actually have a store full of stuff. If I listed everything below, market, and it's sold out, I wouldn't have anything on my store, So this is Poke, and he was talking about how he sold his stuff, his Journey Together stuff at MSRP, and it sold out within seconds. And he says his customers were mad. His customers were mad because there was nothing to buy from him because it all was listed at too good of a price, which was MSRP. And now, he has nothing, no Journey Together stuff left in his store because it all sold out. So, people will complain about anything. They'll complain that it's over MSRP. They'll complain that it sold out too fast because you sold it at MSRP. People are just looking to complain about anything. That's basically where we're at in this market. We're in a situation where everybody wants what they want, but I don't even know how to explain that. They want their cake and eat it too, but they also want you to give them good deals, but not everybody else. It doesn't make sense. I don't know how that works in their mind. You know what I mean? So for me, I think the negative stories outshine the good, and the good is Pokemon interest is at all-time high. Yes, it is. Like I said, so for it's about 31% higher than like that Vivid Voltage Evolving Skies era. I think it was closer to the Chilling Reign to Celebrations kind of era. It's about 30% more interest than that era, but it's only about 21% more interest than like the Silver Tempest Crown Zenith era. And then that's where, like I said, the interest dropped at Scarlet and Violet. The gray borders. Scarlet and Violet looks like crap and this and that. And actually, Scarlet and Violet base set is the best base set we've ever got. That Gardevoir line, awesome. The Slowpoke, Drowsy, all those cards are now popping off. Some people saw the value in those. I picked up all those cards for my son's binder. Every Scarlet and Violet base set, illustration rare, special illustration rare. Every Paldea Evolved, special illustration rare and illustration rare. Same with Obsidian Flames and 151. After 151 is Paradox Rift. Still trying to finish that one. So it was easy to finish all the way up to 151. But as soon as I got to Paradox Rift, that's when like all the illustration rares started going crazy. So now when I used to be able to buy 3 or 4 for the price of it, I'm getting 1. But the prices are coming down a little bit. So I paused on that for just a little bit, and I started buying illustration rares from the newer sets like Surging Sparks and Stellar Crown, because some of the lower end ones were super cheap still, under $5. But it got to the point where nothing on Paradox Rift was under $5, and all the ones that were missing were like over $10, $15 illustration rares, which is nuts. But so we're starting to see like that interest couldn't hold forever. So we are starting to see a correction now. So some of those cards like that Drowsy that hit 60 is now 34 or something like that. The Ninetales went up to 34, now it's 22 from Obsidian Flames. So we're starting to see a correction. So right now, it's going to be a good time to start buying. And like if you were buying at the high, you're buying $60 Drowsies and stuff like that. Don't do that. Don't ever buy when things are super hyped. Like I said, a bunch of new people drove the market, but that can't be sustainable. That can't be sustainable, especially the people who are done playing Pokemon Pocket and they're done searching for Pokemon cards, or they're done doing all that stuff. All the stuff that they're overly going to reprint, because they are going to overly reprint a bunch of stuff. Pokemon's not stupid. They're leaving money on the table. If I walk into a store looking for something and there's nothing on the shelves are bare, Pokemon is leaving money on the table. That's it. They know this. They're not stupid. They're going to print a lot of this stuff, like they did with Crown Zenith, like they did with Vivid Voltage, like they did with Shining Fates. You see what it did to the market on those products, right? Shining Fates is barely recovering from that reprint. So I've seen people listing Shining Fates ETBs for like $85 to $120 now. Like I said, we were getting those 2 years ago. That set's like $400 4, almost 5 years old. But 2 years ago, I was getting those for like $35. Me and my son opened as many as we needed to, and we stopped. But we were picking up at $35. And now, you know, those ETBs are starting to get expensive. You know, they're gonna reprint this stuff. I could see them reprinting. So they announced that they were gonna reprint booster boxes of Obsidian Flames, Paldea Evolved, Twilight Masquerade, and Surging Sparks. Those 4 booster boxes, not Scarlet and Violet base. So if you see Scarlet and Violet base stuff, you could probably just pick it up. ETBs, whatever, just pick that up, because I don't think they're going to reprint Scarlet and Violet base. And if they do, it might be small. Obsidian Flames needed a bigger reprint. Those playable Charizards and stuff like that. Apparently the Charizard is going to be a little bit more playable when the rotation goes, because there was stuff that was kind of stifling Charizard from like the from Scarlet Sword and Shield. Those are going out of rotation. And so that set's going to get better. The Dragapult set's going to get, I think it might get better. I'm not sure. My son gives me all this information about the playability. And he tells me that, you know, Screamtail, you know, got more playable all of a sudden because of a card. But it might not after rotation or something like that. So, you know, so like I said, we're in a time where everyone thinks, oh, reprints aren't going to adjust, reprints aren't going to fix things, reprints, they're just going to make prices crazier, this and that, blah, blah, blah. We've seen this already. We played this game already. And like I said, I can't like speak enough about, you know, the market it has these roller coaster rides, and this down is going to look similar to this down, and this high is going to look similar to this high. You know what I mean? It's if you haven't been here long enough, you haven't seen it, then you'd be one of those people. Oh no, never. No, my stuff's never going to drop. The new investor people think all their stuff is just going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. Trust me, some things will crash, and they could stay down there as long as the Shining Fates ETBs stay down there. They could stay down there for as long as Vivid Voltage booster boxes stay down there. If they print enough of this stuff, if they overprint it like they did with some of those sets and with Crown Zenith, that stuff could be sitting down low for a very long time. And I could see them doing that with certain things. I don't, Twilight Masquerade to me is not one of the best sets. There's like 2 cards in that set that are super hyped, and then there's some good cards, but nothing we haven't seen before, you know what I mean? Same with Surging Sparks. The Pikachu's coming down in price. It's weird because that card wasn't well received. Everyone was, oh, we're getting a special illustration for Pikachu. And then when they revealed the card, people canceled pre-orders for Surging Sparks. It's crazy. And now look at, the card went up to like 500 something bucks. It's back down into like 4 something, and it's continuing to drop. Everything is dropping right now. Everything is dropping. Man, the Giratina from Lost Origin shot up over 700. It's dropped back down to like 619. Almost dropped $100 because all that hype from the Pokemon Pocket and Prismatic, it wasn't sustainable. It never will be sustainable. When I'm telling you, when things go shooting up, don't buy them. Don't buy them. Go look for the things that are just chilling and not doing anything, and go buy that stuff that you missed out on previously, and then wait for all that hype stuff to come back down and correct. You know what I mean? If you didn't buy it at the bottom and it shoots up, don't buy it. When you see a graph that goes like this, don't buy it. If you see a graph that's going like this, you might have to buy it in that time, because graphs that go like this are never going to go back down, like shoot down like that. But a graph that does this is going to do that. It is going to come down. And I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of cards just dropping. Drop. Every card that shot up is dropping. The one thing that's not are Japanese cards right now. The Japanese cards, they didn't have a sharp incline. They were just doing that slowly climb. They're not doing that drop. They're not doing the drop. But right now is a very good time. 151, one of the most hyped sets, one of the best sets we've got in this era, one of the best sets we've had in, like, actually literally in any Pokemon era. 151 is one of the best sets that has ever been created. Right now is a good time to go get some of those singles. Look at the Charmander has dropped lower than the Squirtle as a top illustration rare in that set. Squirtle's higher. That's not going to sustain. That Squirtle's going to drop back. People are going to, Charmander is going to be the number 1 illustration rare in there. So Charmander, go buy those right now because they have dropped. They're so much lower than they were. The Zapdos is dropping. The Venusaur dropped back down to the 70s. These cards are all dropping. I made a video about like the Bubble Mew and all that stuff. Where to expect to buy these at the Magikarp. That Magikarp is getting close to that 225 that was my target purchase price for anybody who hasn't got it yet. It's starting to get down there. Bubble Mew, I think I had that at 325. I'd have to look at that video again. 325, 335 or something like that. So right now there's a correction, and like I said, go and if there's a card that you missed that shot up and you're like, oh, I'm never gonna get it because it just shot up, like I said, like the Bubble Mew or something like that, go and look at those cards. Go look at the graphs. Go look at the old high. Go look at the shoot up and look. And so the drop after the shot up, it's probably not gonna go down to the old high. It'll probably go up a little bit higher than that, but it's not going to be way up here where it was because it's dropping. So whatever that old high was, I think it was probably about 315 or something like that on the Bubble Mew. I'm telling you, that Bubble Mew is going to get down to 325, 330 or something like that. I think 330 was my target on that. Same with the Greninja, about 330. Much better than 411 or whatever those shot up to. Somewhere around that 330 mark is probably where you're going to get the Bubble Mew. Somewhere around 225 is where you're going to get the Magikarp. That's where it's probably going to bottom out. You always want to buy it at the bottom, the lowest low, or close to it. You don't want to miss out when it just shoots up back again. So like I said, 225 on the Magikarp, I think is what that's going to get to. But like I said, just do your research, and you want the Drowsy. Maybe that Drowsy is going to get back down to like $28 or something like that. Maybe it'll drop more. Who knows? But right now there's a correction. Like I said, that enthusiasm that all the new people came in and they went back and bought all the Scarlet and Violet stuff. They went back and bought Crown Zenith stuff. They went back and just raised the price of everything. That enthusiasm is like kind of fading on the old stuff. It's moved on to Destined Rivals. You see some of that fading on the prismatic stuff. They want the sealed stuff more than they want the cards, it seems like, which buying the sealed stuff and opening it is for those cards. So just go buy the cards, I don't want to go too much further into this discussion about what's going on in the market, but yeah, we've got two things that are driving it, and it was Pokemon Pocket. That's a game. That is a game where you open packs. So it's helped out the actual real packs in real life. People want to go open packs after they open up Pokemon Pocket packs. And then the Prismatic Evolutions people. There might be a third group that you can kind of lump in with the Pokemon Pocket people that just came for the chasing the Pikachu and Surging Sparks. Maybe they didn't care about Pokemon Pocket, because I know there's a lot of people that love Pikachu and a Pikachu Special Illustration Rare. We didn't have one for a long time. There was a Pikachu Illustration Rare in 151. There was a Pikachu Secret Rare in Crown Zenith, but you had to go all the way back to Vivid Voltage. Actually, there was a couple. I mean, I guess there was that one in. I'm trying to remember what set that was in. Lost Origin. Lost Origin has that Pikachu with the red. Is it red? But the big Pikachu chase was all the way back in Vivid Voltage, the big one. And so now you had this one. So that was quite a few years since it was a really big Pikachu chase. And so you got that in Surging Sparks. And so those people came in. So that's another, so it's almost like there's three groups of people that came in for things. Nobody came in to chase Greninja for Twilight. Maybe a small portion of people came in to chase Greninja in Twilight Masquerade. But like I said, Twilight Masquerade wasn't well received. The Greninja comes out and it just shot up in price. And that gave us the gauge of what Scarlet and Violet cards could do. I pretty much think Greninja was that gauge, saying, hey, Scarlet and Violet can have very expensive cards, because they didn't really have very expensive cards. Even in 151, Charizard stayed around $115, $110 for a long time. And now we know where it's at, sitting up at around $245 right now or something like that. So yeah, that Greninja did help show that there is some value in Scarlet and Violet. But then the Pikachu solidified it and went nuts. And of course, we see what happened with Prismatic and the new Moonbreon 2.0. But yeah, It's crazy. There's a lot of things driving the market, but and the interest is good. It's really good. Like everyone and their mom knows what Pokemon is now and all that kind of stuff. Except for my girlfriend, she don't even know who Charizard is. We were shopping in Hawaii and they had like a bunch of fake Pokemon cards and fake like stuffed animals and stuff like that. And then she was like, "Oh, they got like Pokemon things over here." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And then I was like, "Do you know which character that Charizard?" And she's like, "I don't know what that is." so not everybody knows what it is, but a lot of people do. But all right. So anyway, this is. I just wanted to discuss, what's going on in the market. But I usually don't like to make these longer discussion videos. I like to make 10, 15-minute videos at the most. But I just kind of wanted to rant and run on with what's going on in the market, what I think and what I feel. And I feel that Destined Rivals is going to be crazy. It's going to stay hard to get, just like Journey Together. But they're going to reprint a lot of stuff. They're going to reprint and reprint and reprint. Like I said, they're doing the booster bundles right now. I don't think they're going to drop below 50 on the secondary market. Maybe they get down to 44 like the 151 bundles did. But hey, we'll never know. I think we're going to get a lot of reprints and a lot of chances to purchase stuff. So don't go crazy, spending all your money like on all this crazy overpriced stuff, because there will be chances for you to get stuff. And hopefully we get back to the point where we can buy off the Pokemon Center ETBs and booster boxes for MSRP and buying off of eBay and all those places for slightly below MSRP. But I think it's going to take a minute to get there, but we will get back to there. We will get back to the point where people aren't willing to pay MSRP for stuff, just like at the beginning of Scarlet and Violet. We will get back there. Even some Crown Zenith was sitting there at MSRP for a long time and nobody wanted it. But yeah, we're headed back there, but it's gonna take a little while because Destined Rivals is super hyped. And like I said, who really likes Team Rocket? Does everybody really, that many Team Rocket fans? To me, this is something we've seen already, so I don't understand it. I don't know why it's all crazy. It looks like a cool set. There's some cool cards, but Scarlet and Violet base set was a cool set with cool cards. Obsidian Flames was a cool set with cool cards. It doesn't make sense to me why it's super hyped, but it is what it is. All right, man. I'll see you guys on the next video. Happy hunting. I'm out.